Hello, and welcome to my Monday night streaming where we talk mostly about AI. And today we're gonna take a look at ChatGPT for beginners and some tips and tricks that can be useful if you are new to ChatGPT. So I am going to share my screen here. Hi, James. Welcome. So when it comes to ChatGPT, we have the free version, which I have up on screen here. But we also have a paid version, which I have up on screen here. We are going to focus mostly on the free version today, but I will show you a couple of things that maybe can make it worthwhile to subscribe to ChatGPT, depending on how much you're going to use it. You can do a lot in the free version. So if we start by looking here, I am using ChatGPT 3.5, which is the fastest model. ChatGPT 4, you can only use if you are subscribed. And I think, let me see here, $20 a month is the cost for ChatGPT 4. And you see to the left here, I haven't any inquiries, any chats here at all yet, because I created this account the other day just to be able to do this live stream where we can compare the two. But down here, a couple of tips that can be really good to use when you come to the free version. Here you have my account. If I click on the three little dots there, I can of course log out from here. If we go into settings, in general settings, we have just two. We can have the system setup or choose dark or light. I go with the theme of the system. I'm usually having a dark theme. Then we have some data controls, and if you enable this, it will save your chats over on the left-hand side here. You can share a link to a chat, to an inquiry you have done. And if you do so, you can manage your shared links here if you don't want to share it anymore. You can export your data, and that is all the questions you have asked over time will be exported as a zip file, and you can save it on your, I think, you get an email to a downloadable file, and then you download. The download link will expire within 24 hours, but if you go straight to your email and you download it and then unpack it, you will have all your previous chats with ChatGPT on your computer. And then you can, of course, delete your account from here. But if you want to keep all the inquiries you have had, make sure you go into settings under data controls and enable this. If you have it disabled, it will not share any of your chat history. So that was a couple of very, very basic things. But let's start talking about asking questions. This is a language bot, so let's start with the simple one. Can you write a letter? No. Call it an email to my friend asking if she can babysit my dog this weekend. And we hit enter. And subject line, weekend doggy favor. Hi, friend's name. I hope this email finds you well. And for some reason, every time you ask for email, it starts with, I hope this email finds you well. And then it goes on asking, and you have to fill in the information here, dates, dog's name, and so forth. But let's say that I realized that I missed something very important, and this is tip number 1. You can go up here to where you asked your question and change it by clicking that little pencil that was there and add some information. And tip number 2, one type of information that is very useful is to assign ChatGPT a role, a persona. So write this as if you are a pirate. Save and submit, and now it will write this over again. Ahoy, matey. I hope this message find ye well amidst the rolling waves of life. And now it writes it in the type of a pirate. We can also assign it another type. Write this letter as if you are Abraham Lincoln. And let's see. My dearest friend, I trust this letter finds you in good health and high spirits. It is with a heavy heart and a sense of deep humility that pen these words to request a favor of you, and so forth. And that was tip number 2. Tip number 1 was you can go in and rewrite your initial question. Tip number 2, you can assign it a persona. Let's click new chat. Now you see here that we have this chat saved. Tip number 3, and this is a good habit to start with from the beginning. You can go in and change the name of this. So email dog sitter, I call this. That way it will be so much easier for me to find my different chats here when I have renamed them to something that fits. You like the pirate version better? Well, I guess it depends on who you are writing to. Let's try another query or question or chat. I think they usually call them chat. Can you write all the states in the US with their capital and their motto? And here it goes. Alabama, Montgomery, and so forth. A long, long list. This will take a little while before it's done. And this time it decided to write it as a list, which makes sense in a way. But my next tip has to do with format. This will be, as I said, a long list. It's almost done here. You see, this is not easy to get an overview over. So I can tell it what format I want. And in this case, we're going to use it. Write this in a table with column 1 being the state, column 2 being the capital and column 3 being their motto. And nothing of that got written. Write this as a table. Column 1, the state. Column 2, the capital. And column 3, their motto. And now it writes it as a code, and I didn't like that. Let it finish, and then we will write this as a 3-column table for a Word document. Oh, it does it again. I don't want to end that. Write this in text format. And I can't spell, but luckily I have another AI in the background, Grammarly. Stop. Okay, it won't do it, so let's copy the code and let's open a doc and paste it. Didn't work very well. I don't know why it is doing this right now. So let's create a table with 3 columns. Column 1, all US states. Column 2, state capital. Column 3, state motto. Let's see. Here we go. I needed to say create a table with 3 columns for it to do it right. And here we go. And this will be so much easier to find. Are you done yet? Yes, you're done. So we will call it states. And as I said, try to remember to rename them right away. Let's start a new chat. And this time, we're going to ask ChatGPT, create a 5-day meal plan that is easy to cook and take no more than 30 minutes. No dairy products. And here it goes. Breakfast, lunch and dinner every day. And I hope it has no dairy products. Meal plan. Now we're going with the next tip. Write a follow-up question. Can you add the nutritional value to each meal? And here it goes. It rewrites it with the added information in nutritional value for each of the suggestion it had up here. And let's say that this black bean and vegetable quesadilla, I want to. Can you give me a recipe for the quesadilla? And let's see. Here we go. So follow-up questions is another excellent tip for those of you that are new to ChatGPT. Now we're gonna do something more advanced. Can you explain what BCI is So here we go. BCI stands for Brain-Computer Interface, and it go on with rather complex description. Now I'm going to follow this up with a very useful question when you research more complex topic. Can you explain this to me as if I am 10 years old? And here we have a very simplified explanation about BCI. Brain signals, listening to your brain, making things happen. If we want it to be even simpler, we can say, can you explain this as if I am 5 years old? So we compare the first. Brain signals. Our brains are super smart and send tiny electrical signals to make bodies move or think. BCIs listen to these signals. For the 5-year-old, it says, your brain talks with your body using tiny invisible superpowers called brain signals. It's like magic messages your brain sends. So depending on what age you ask ChatGPT to be, the simpler the explanation will be. Oh, did I save that? I continued in the same discussion here as meal plan. That was not very smart on me. So let's start a new chat this time so we don't mess it up. Can you explore the history of AI? Okay, and now ask it, can you rewrite this as a story for children? This time I'm asking it to change the format of the writing as a story. And here we go. Once upon a time in a world filled with curious inventors and clever scientists, there was a magical idea called artificial intelligence, or AI for short. Chapter 1, the birth of AI. And it goes on all the way. So you can also, that was, I don't know what number of tip this was, but you can ask ChatGPT to change the style of the writing. Before we take a quick look at the paid version, there is one very good thing you can use, both in the free and the paid version. And that is here under your account, the 3 little dots, custom instructions. And this is if you use ChatGPT for some specific type of writing all the time. You can set up these custom instructions, and every time you ask for that type, it will write according to the instructions you leave here. The first part is, what would you like ChatGPT to know about you to provide better responses? And we have some questions here that you can answer, but I have actually saved in Google Docs a couple of different personas, and that's my suggestion to you to do. Oh, I think I have it in my, right. We're going to change to my other account. Let's see if I, persona. Let's go to Docs again and see if I have it here. No, I must have it somewhere here. I changed to this. No, that's not it. Okay, let's skip this and let's just write it. I am PixelPia, a video tutorial creator. Let's just save it for that. When I use the term tutorial, write me a outline for a video covering the topic I ask for in a bullet form. And I can't spell bullet, ballet, no, bullet form. And you have to enable this for new chats and click save. And let's start a new chat and say a tutorial about Chat GPT for beginners. That's all I'm writing, a tutorial about ChatGPT for beginners. And since I said specifically that if I use the word tutorial, it should do this. And here we have a bullet form list of ChatGPT tutorial. Certainly, PixelPia. Here is an outline for a video tutorial about getting started with ChatGPT for beginners. Introduction and what I should talk about that. What is ChatGPT and a couple of bullet forms. Setting up ChatGPT, interact with ChatGPT, and so forth. And as I said, I have saved a couple of these personas, both where I saved what I wanted ChatGPT to know about me and the instruction to what I wanted it to do when I used certain terms. So if you are using ChatGPT, let's say that you use ChatGPT for an outline for a blog post very often, 3 times a week, 5 times a week, you can put in there all the ways you want ChatGPT to format this blog post outline. So when you don't have to worry as much about all the information you put in the chat itself, because it has that saved. If we go in and look here again on the custom instruction, as long as I have this change saved, I can go in and if I could have found my docs, I have this down for my podcast as well, the Geeky Boomer, and I can go in and just copy and paste that persona's information. And when I use the word podcast, it will write it in a totally different way. It will give me sources, it will give me links to the web and a lot of stuff, because for the podcast, I use it more as a research tool. So that was my tips for beginners when it comes to the free version. But we also have this version. Why is this window open? This is the paid version, and you can see I have so many saved. I should go in and clean these out because I have downloaded them. The difference between the free and the paid version is I have custom instructions exactly the same way, but under settings I have this beta features. These are things that they are just trying out, and I have added on that I can use plugins, and then we can have advanced data analysis, but I don't use that too much, so I have that turned off. But since I have plugins, I can now use ChatGPT, our most capable model, great for tasks that require creativity and advanced reasoning. And when I have it set, I can have it set to default, then it doesn't use any of the plugins. Or I can go into plugins here, and if I click on that little down arrow here, we see a couple of plugins that I have. For example, these consensus search, get answers and insight directly from 200 plus million scientific papers. To use, just ask a research question. I have that installed for my research. Prompt perfect, start your prompt with perfect to craft the perfect prompt every time. I have Video Insight IO. That means that I can paste in a link to a YouTube video and ask ChatGPT to just write to summarize the most important part of that video. Ask Your PDF is another plugin I have installed. That means that I can upload a PDF and ask it to do the same thing as with Video Insights. Oops. And Web Pilot makes it possible for ChatGPT to search the web. Normally, ChatGPT can't search the web. It bases all its answer on the information up to 2021. That was the cutoff date. But with that plugin installed, it can search the web. And then we have the plugin store. And here we have lots and lots of plugins. All, let me see, 117 pages of 8 plugins on each. So that is 1,000 plugins almost. And you can search plugin for, let's see, formatting. No plugins found for that. Storybooks, create bedtime stories, AI Quest, an interactive text adventure. All kinds of thing here. And the new you will see as the latest. If you take off story there. New. A/B analytics. A/B test and analyze data from Google Analytics. And so forth. And popular. Ask Your PDF is one of the popular one. If I search here, let's say that I search for something that has to do with PDF, you will see we have 40 different plugins for PDF. So to choose which one to use, some of them are really great, some of them are more questionable. Here you can click this little link to see who created it, and you can send an email from here to that creator. There are so many websites and YouTube channels where you can find information of what is the best ChatGPT plugins to use. But with the paid version, and did I say $25 a month, you get a lot of extra possibilities that you don't get with the free version. Since I use it a lot for research, I think it's worth $25 a month for me. But as I showed you, there are a lot of things you can do with the free version. ChatGPT is not the only multi-language model out there. There are many. ChatGPT is maybe the most known right now.